I'm realizing you can't see my shirt, but it's really fun. Look, it says, born to read, forced to socialize. I feel like we all can relate to that. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with another pretty big book unhaul. As you can see, the book box here is pretty full. So I've done a couple of these unhauls on my channel, but basically what ends up happening is when I get new books or I go through different waves of what I'm into reading wise, I unhaul a bunch of books. So we usually take a box about this size to our used book warehouse 3 or 4 times a year, and so as you can see, it's quite full and it's about time that we take it again. So I thought, since I'm not doing a book haul in January just because I don't have enough to show you, so we'll do a combined haul for February, I'll just go ahead and do a book unhaul because these need to go. So I can obviously tell what's on top because that's the most recent stuff that I've added, but when we get down into the midst of this box, I have no idea what's actually in here. It's been a while. This is probably the culmination of, 6 months or so, let's say. I haven't been buying a lot of books recently, so this one took a little bit longer than it has in the past, but with that being said, let's dive in. I won't put any of the books down below, or I'll talk about them a little bit when I remember what they're about, but some of these I'm not even sure I remember what they're about. So let's just dive in. So right on top, we have these 2 books, which are part of the Meant to Be series, which is a series of contemporary romances that are inspired by fairy tales. So we have, the first one is If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy, which is a reimagining of Cinderella. And we have the second book, which is by Jasmine Guillory, which is a reimagining of Beauty and the Beast. There's a third one that I don't actually know what the author's name is, but it's a Little Mermaid. And then the fourth one is coming out this year, which is by Christina Lauren, and that's a Rapunzel retelling. So they don't actually they're not in any order. They're literally standalones. It's a bunch of different authors writing these books, but I think I gave this one 3 stars and this one 4 stars. I've really enjoyed them. It's not that I don't enjoy these books, and I'm definitely going to read the new Christina Lauren one just because I love that author duo, but I have no desire to read them again. I do need to there's tabs in them, so I need to take the tabs out, or whoever buys these eventually is going to have some very interesting questions for me. So there's nothing wrong with these. They just I'm never going to read them again. They were good. I enjoyed my time with them, and now I think somebody else could probably enjoy them a little bit more. So those 2 are going. And then another couple from the same series is Dial A For Aunties and For Aunties and a Wedding. This is a companion, well, it's not really a companion, it's a duology. I think that's it. I don't think there's any more, by Jessie Q. Sutano. I read the first one, Dial A For Aunties. The second one I haven't touched yet, but I enjoyed the first one. It was really goofy. It's basically this girl who, her and her 4 aunties all own a wedding company, and they each do something different, and then she ends up going on a date at the very beginning of this book, and the date ends up dying, and so they somehow the body ends up at this big cruise ship place where the wedding they're hosting and helping with is happening, and the guy who owns this company or this ship is someone that she had a thing with in the past. So it's them and the 4 aunties trying to hide this dead body, and there's a romance of sorts. So it's utterly ridiculous. You kind of have to throw your believability of what's actually happening out the window, but I did enjoy it. I think I gave it 4 stars by the time I finished it. It was totally fine. It's been a while since I read this one, and I think this one's very, very similar. It takes place after the events of this, but it involves mobs, and it's again another wedding day with the aunties trying to hide shenanigans that are happening. So it was good. I did enjoy this one, but I think I got what I wanted from the series. I feel like I'm decided to DNF this series. I don't feel like I need to read the second one, so we're gonna get rid of that one, and then I don't feel like I need to hold on to this one anymore. I did tab a couple of things, not a whole lot, but it was fine. Like looking back on it, I'm sure that while I was physically reading it, it was totally fine. But here, I don't need to hold on to it, you know? So that one's also, those two are going to go. I need to make a pile of things with tabs in it so that I remember to take those out. Okay, the next one is The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner, which was my book of the month book in March of last year. I read this in the fall. I think I gave it 3 stars. Was totally fine. Really enjoyed my time reading it. Not going to touch it again. I do have another book by this author, The Lost Apothecary, which I definitely want to get to. So it's nothing against this book. I just know me and I'm not going to touch it again. So we're going to get rid of this one. The next one is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This is going to sound bizarre, but this is a duplicate. I bought this off of Amazon and it's the wrong size. So when I went to a book festival in the fall of last year, I got the correct size of this book. So this is, I love this series. You guys know this. This just happens to be a duplicate. The next one is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. I talked a lot about this kind of the end of last year. I read this sometime last year and it was fine. It was not anything amazing. I kind of like, I don't know, it was very underwhelming. I think this was on one of my biggest disappointments of the year because it's a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I love me some Hades and Persephone retellings. It just didn't work the way that I wanted it to. So I'm not going to continue with the series. I'm good. I got what I wanted out of it. We're going to get rid of that one, give it to somebody else. The next 3 are all part of the same series, and that is A Curse So Dark and Lonely, or the Cursebreaker series, which is a curse so dark and lonely, a vow so bold and deadly, and a heart so fierce and broken. I might have said those out of order, but I did this for a Simplify My series last year. I read this one 2 years ago, I want to say. I read this one for a vlog I did a couple of years ago and really enjoyed it, and I think this is still the best in the series. So because of that, I bought the other 2 and proceeded to do a Simplify My series last year. Enjoyed them. I still think pretty highly of these books. I'm really glad that I read them, especially because they were super, super hyped. But I'm not going to read them again. I know me. I read them. We're done. So we're going to pass this series on to somebody else who can enjoy them. Actually, I'm pretty sure I got the first book in the series from the book warehouse that these are going back to. LOL. But yes, the entire series is going to go because while I did enjoy it, I'm not going to touch it again, so we can move on. I then have a book that I bought a long time ago because of the author, and I just know me. I'm not going to touch it. And that is Eve by William Paul Young. This is the guy who wrote The Shack, which is a book that I really enjoy, and I do still have my copy of. Saw this, thought, oh my gosh, he's going to be amazing in this one as well. It's been like 3 or 4 years. Haven't touched it. Probably not going to touch it. We're going to let that one go. That one I got secondhand for sure. Okay, we have The Queen of Coin and Whispers by Helen Corcoran. I got this one, I think, because someone talked about it online, and again, it's fine. I have no desire to pick it up. It's been a little bit of time since this one, so I picked this one up, and there's so many other things that I want to read instead, so that one's gonna go. We have The Evil Queen by Jenna Showalter, which is another kind of reimagining. I really enjoyed this book. This one is like, if you are a fan of fairy tale retellings and reimaginings, and you like the TV show Once Upon a Time, this is a great story for you. It follows our main character, I can't remember what her name is, Everly, and it takes place in this world where she ends up going to this world called Enchantia, where basically all of the fairy tale stories that you and I know, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, things like that, Cinderella, are not stories. They're like prophecies. And so she has been told that she is going to take part and be part of the Snow White prophecy. And it's suspected that she is the evil queen. So I still really enjoyed this. This is definitely a new adult book, but I'm not going to touch it again. It was great. We can pass that on to someone who will enjoy it more. Okay, I then have, let's see, This Vicious Grace by Emily Feed, which is a fairy book that I did read last year, and I think I gave it 3 stars. I'm not sure if I want to continue with this series yet or not. I read it, and I did enjoy it. I think gave it 3 stars, but it wasn't anything spectacular. I'm not picking up the special edition of the second book in the series. Like I said, I'm still debating on whether or not I want to read the second book in the series, but it's a beautiful edition, and someone else can enjoy that one. Another fairy loot book is The Darkening by Sunya Mara, which is another fairy loot book that I got, and I have so many fairy loot books, and this one was not one of the ones that like spoke to me. So let me know if I should keep this one, because this one is just, I don't know, there's just something about it that I feel like it sounds like a lot of other YA fantasy books. So this can go to someone else who will enjoy it more. Same thing with The Right Swipe by Alicia Ray, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's a contemporary romance. I picked it up because the cover looked really, really cute, and I have so many contemporary romances that I'm more interested in. This one was just one that I was like, oh, I know that cover, let me pick it up. So it has to do with social media, and my interest in this has dipped since I picked it up, because like I said, I have so many other books that are on my list of things that I want to read. So we're going to give that one to someone. And then another one is The Ladies of Grace Adieu by Susanna Clark. I've never read anything by Susanna Clark. This was pitched to me as like fairy tale meets Jane Austen. I did open this a couple of times, and the writing just isn't my vibe, so we're going to pass that on. I think I got this on Amazon, but it clearly looks like it has seen better days, but that's one that we're going to give to somebody else. Oh, there's a couple of fairy loot things in here. One of them is City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaefer. Again, this is one that I got in a fairy loot that just, there's something about it that's really bizarre, and I don't understand it, and the subject matter, the synopsis doesn't sound particularly interesting to me. So that's one of the misses for me when it comes to fairy loot, so we're gonna let that one go. Okay, hold on, let me grab what's left in the box, because there's not a whole lot left in here. Some of the ones on the bottom that I kind of forgot that I owned. We have Enchanté by Gita Trellis, which, oh, I think I still have a bookmark in. This one is no longer called Enchanté. It's called like something that glitters or something, but it's fantastical and takes place in the court of Marie Antoinette. And I did start this book, and I kind of put it on pause because it just wasn't grabbing my attention. And then I put it downstairs and forgot that we had it. And then I found it the other day and was like, or like a while ago, and went, oh, well, I'm not going to touch that. So I did try this. It just didn't hold my interest. So I'm going to pass that along to somebody else. Another one is 4321, and this is by Courtney Stevens. This follows 5 people who are like was part of a like bus explosion, and they survived, and it's their story afterwards. This was like, I got this one because the cover looked really cool, and it was through my phase of like trying to find things that were harder hitting. It's been a while since I picked this one up. My interest in this has depleted substantially, and I just feel like I don't need to read a story about a bus bombing. So that one can go to somebody else. I picked up Romanov by Nadine Brands, which is a reimagining, I think fantastical reimagining of Anastasia, which I do love. It's been a while since I looked at this one, and I think there's better Anastasia retellings that I would like to read instead. That one can go. Another fairy loot that didn't fit or hit right was Scabbage of Scars by Tara Sam. This one I think I was really excited about when I got it, but again, interest has kind of dipped. I think it's Monte Cristo, whatever that book is called. That's Monte Cristo is a sandwich. Hold on. The Count of Monte Cristo. See, I knew it was involved somewhere. And this was like a few years old. This is an Owl Crate book. Oh wow, I haven't gotten Owl Crate in so long. Okay, anyway, interest in this has kind of dipped. Let's see. Some of these I've actually read. Actually, the rest of these I think I've read, except for this one. This one is Always to Remember by Lorraine Heath, which is one of the books that I picked up when I was just buying a bunch of books by her. And this one is not part of our reread or like buddy read that I'm doing with my friends. Also, it takes place in the Confederacy, and it was written in 96, so we're doing series, not standalones. So, and I just have no need for this one anymore. And I got it for like 10 cents, so that one can go. The Wren Hunt by Mary Watson, which is another book that I read. I did enjoy this one. It's just, again, I have no desire to reread it. It's a beautiful cover, but it was a cool story. There's a second one in the series, but I think it's more of a companion than anything else, and I don't have the need to pick it up. So Beautiful cover. Someone else can enjoy this one because I've read that one. A couple of mangas. I Hear the Sunspot. This is Limit 1, I believe, which I did enjoy. It's like this guy who has a hearing disability or hearing impairment and his friend, or this guy that becomes his friend, and they like become friends in this book. I like the story of them. I don't feel like I need to own them. And I found the rest of the series, or at least the next few in the series, at my library. So it was good. I think I gave it 3 stars. It's just this one can go to somebody else because I don't need that one anymore. I Love You So Much I Hate You by Uni, which is a standalone female-female romance. I think I gave this one 3 stars. There's a few things about this that I enjoyed. There's a few, like the story I enjoyed, like having a manga about 2 women in a romance, unheard of. So I did enjoy that part, but as far as like the story, there were some weird things. I remember when I was reading it, not liking a couple of things that were happening in it, and I'm never gonna touch it again. So this can go to somebody else. Okay, I'm also going to get rid of my copy of Sorcery of Thorns, which actually I'm realizing the binding is a little messed up. I enjoyed this one tremendously. This one is also an old Owl Crate book. This one is from, because I keep all my Owl Crate stuff in here, June of 2019, so it's been a few years. I enjoyed this book. Again, don't feel like I'm going to ever reread it. Can pass it on to somebody who will enjoy it a lot more and get this kind of special purple cover if they want to. And then the final book is Blood and Promise, the first in the Fae Rising series by Miranda Lynn. I have this actually on my Kindle, so if I decide I want to continue with the series, I can. It's the first in a trilogy. I enjoyed it. It took me way too long to get through, and I'm not sure how I feel about the rest of the series. So, because I've forgotten a lot about this, but this is a self-published kind of fantasy romance, and I think some people, fantasy romance is really, really popular right now, so I think some people will definitely enjoy this much more. There's an entire like fantasy romance section at this book warehouse, so that can go to someone who will enjoy it more, and I'm sure there's more on my actual shelves. I did kind of go through a few just to see if anything popped off that I needed to get rid of, and nothing else is speaking to me right now. I'm sure I'll find a few more before we actually take these, but that's it for now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this random unboxing. I usually do these pretty quickly because I don't have a lot to say about them. I will say I am surprised by the amount of books that I've actually read in this one. We had quite a few more than I anticipated. And I think that's because I have kind of weeded out a lot of the books that I have no interest in anymore. There's still a few I'm thinking that are on these shelves, but overall, like, I don't own a lot of books that I'm not interested in anymore, and some I'm not doing Fairy Loot anymore just because I was overwhelmed by the amount of books I was getting, and they didn't all hit, obviously. So some of those are going, but yeah, that's a look at kind of what we're going to be getting rid of. Let me know, of course, as always, if you enjoyed this video. If there's a book in this stack that you're like, oh my gosh, no, I know your reading taste and you need to keep it, let me know. I will happily hold on to something if one of you guys recommend it and say that it's really, really good. So let me know. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you'd like to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish links, so check all that out, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!